Now then, everybody, welcome once again to the Gridiron Reprobates podcast. Of course, as always, this is aimed at a mature audience, so we may talk about adult themes and use coarse language.
Thundercum.
That's a new one. How's it going, Phil?
Good.
Excellent.
Disappointed we lost to the Saints, but we still scored a lot because we're all offense and no defense.
Because you're the number one offense in the league for some reason.
Gino Smith, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Legit. And we've also got Ryan with us this week. How's it going, Ryan?
Yeah, good. I just spotted your name, Phil Dunphy. What a guy.
Unfortunately, Baz can't be with us. He is at work. But unlike last week where we totally forgot, we've got his pick in for this week's Thursday night game. And we're gonna believe the pick he gave us when we forgot to get it in time for the game.
He picked the losing team, so
yeah.
He even said, I think I picked the losing team. It's like, all right.
Speaking of losers, let's talk about last week's Thursday night football game. Football might be a bit of a stretch.
No. I don't want to. It was terrible.
Okay. It was awful.
I watched like 3 minutes of the highlights on YouTube.
It was awful. Nobody won. Least of all, anybody watching the game. Ryan was the only one of the reprobates to correctly predict it, so he has put himself back in the lead in our Thursday night predictions thing that we're doing. So, less said about Thursday night, the better. Let's get into something a tad more meaty, and that is to talk about the state of refereeing in the NFL at the moment. One of the most unfortunate things about Week 5 was it was marred by controversial refereeing calls.
It wasn't controversial. It was just shit.
Well, we'll start, as we have two somewhat biased opinions, we'll start with Falcons Buccaneers. Now, I just want to talk about the exact sequence that ended the game. It started off with a fairly soft defensive holding penalty on AJ Terrell. It's soft. You see them called all the time, but it wasn't a great call. It probably shouldn't have got called at all. First, so the next play is a long shot from the. Oh no! So we ran the ball. Then we took a long deep shot to Scotty Miller, and there was a blatantly missed defensive pass interference because he was tackled before the ball was anywhere near him, and you can't say it was uncatchable because he caught it. Then the very next play is the famous roughing the passer call. So all in all, a pretty terrible sequence of 4 plays from the referee to end out the game. And it wasn't just those calls in the game that were terrible. There was an insanely soft roughing the passer penalty on Vita Vea, which was mostly called because he's a very large man. And the worst one for me was when the referees didn't know the rules, that you didn't have to allow the defense to substitute within 2 minutes and prevented Tampa from running a play while the Falcons were changing their squad. And I'm sure Atlanta will have a lot of other penalties that they think they should have been called that weren't called. It was a dreadful officiating performance all round, and it marred what could have been a really good game. What do you guys think about the refereeing in Tampa versus Atlanta?
It was shit.
Yes.
It was awful. I mean, that roughing the passer call. Now, I want to clarify. Tom Brady does not get more soft calls than other players. But because he's Tom Brady, people pay attention when he does. That's the problem. That's why Brady's, Tom Brady gets all the calls. He doesn't. It just looks like he does because they're the only ones we pay attention to because he's fucking Tom Brady. And he's got a history of being a cheat anyway. So everybody immediately assumes he's paid a ref off or done something suspicious because he's just that kind of guy.
I just like to clear up some confusion. He never paid off a ref. He paid off a ball boy. It's a completely different kettle of fish.
Yes, but you didn't know. he's on the slippery slope.
Fair
And it starts off with the ball boy and it ends up with the ref.
enough.
But yeah, I mean, it was an awful call, as I'm sure both of you would agree. It was a terrible call.
It's
But
very
like
soft.
I said, it's not the fact that Tom Brady gets all soft calls, because I'm sure other ones do as well. It's just we always say it when it's Tom Brady because he's Tom Brady, and everybody's like, "Oh, he got it," and it's just this narrative of just, "Oh, Tom Brady gets soft calls."
Yeah, and it's a terrible way to end a game, because you don't want to end a game on a referee call. You want to end the game the right way.
Yeah, referees
so-
should be almost invisible in
Yeah.
games. You know,
Yeah, so-
they shouldn't be the thing that is a deciding factor in a game in any way. You shouldn't remember the referee's performance. What you should remember is all the football.
Yeah, exactly right. And the Falcons were coming back into the game. They were doing a good job at moving the ball on Tampa. Tampa Bay's offense completely shot itself in the foot. And we were robbed as football fans of a classic ending to the game. I'm not saying Atlanta would have won. It's highly unlikely Atlanta would have won because they couldn't generate any explosive plays. However, we don't know what could have happened because of the call. It was a bad call. We benefited from it. Jermoe Boger for MVP. But yeah, what do you think, Ryan?
It was bad. I could list a couple more than all the decisions you listed. There was a couple of really bad spots for both teams.
Oh, yeah, there was, yeah.
The Mike Evans non-touchdown that...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Jesus, that was definitely a touchdown.
Just how... My issue was mainly people, and Phil makes a really good point. People say, oh, it's Tom Brady. It's because it is Tom Brady. People do watch him more, and that's maybe something I've not considered as much in these arguments. But what I was also getting annoyed, it seemed to be this line of that it cost the Falcons the game. It cost them a chance at winning. But if you look at the whole comeback in the second half, it was based on them running the ball against us. Now, if they would have had to have taken a time out there if it wasn't flagged, we would have punted it on 4th down, and then they would have needed to go the length of the field in 2 minutes 50. They're not going to run the ball because they don't have any timeouts, and they didn't. They're not the best passing team, especially explosive. So there seemed to be this line of the Falcons would have definitely won. The referees cost them the game because their offense was rolling. And then it seemed to be that thing of they always get calls. Brady always gets called. He doesn't. If you remember, last season ended with a shocking no call. It was a rough in the pass that burst his lip open, and he got flagged for complaining to the refs about it. I just hated that line of we get all the calls when it was the issue was the officiating for both teams was really, really, really bad at the weekend. So yeah, it was just put, and I feel like that particular head referee of that game was it I don't know how to pronounce his name. Is it Boger?
I'm pronouncing it Boger, yeah. Jerome Boger.
He consistently the last few years has had massive games where they've been terrible calls, and he's nearly 70 years old as well. It eventually comes a point where you're thinking, is it your age? Is it the people around you? Like, what is it? How do you consistently call these so badly?
Yeah, and I think we could all agree that we don't know if the Falcons would have won, but they were certainly robbed of they were certainly robbed of an opportunity to win. I think that we can all agree with that. I agree with you, Ryan. I don't think they would have driven the length of the field. They weren't generating explosive plays. They were grinding the defense down. But we don't know. We don't know what would have happened because of the call, and that's what was disappointing for everybody. Because as a fan, you don't want to win that way. You want to win. You want to win it clean. To nick a parlance from wrestling, you don't want to. You don't want the refs deciding the game. But it wasn't the only game where the refs made massive balls up. On Monday night, they called defensive holding on a punt on a field goal. How do you call defensive holding on a field goal? No one is trying to go down the field. Everyone,
I thought that was a typo. I didn't get it. Like, I seen it in the highlights. I genuinely thought it was maybe an editing mistake, and I just didn't think anything of it.
That's what it was called. It was defensive holding, and absolutely incredible. Because no No one is going down the field. There's no one to hold. No one has advanced out of the tackle zone. It's an absolutely insane call. There was also a bad roughing the passer call in that game where Chris Jones had stripped the ball, possessed the ball, and fell on the quarterback. So that was roughing the passer, even though he was no longer a passer.
That one, for that one, it was about, but I can understand why it might have been called at the time, because his full body weight does land on the quarterback. Now, if the referee didn't know that the ball had been stripped at that point, I can see why it was originally called, because the rule is you can't put your full body weight on a quarterback when you sack him. That is roughing the passer now. So that one I can understand a little bit more of why it was originally called. But if they've seen he's been stripped and he's got the ball, huddle together and speak with each other and see this is what happened, it can't be a penalty. He had possession of the ball. So it's weird where I can more understand that one, but it's still a bad call for that to land on what the final call was. Like, yeah, we're still going with roughing the passer.
And so, I'm sure there are other instances of terrible refereeing decisions over the weekend, and we're just highlighting some of them. And you just don't, as a fan, you just don't want the referees to be the story. You want Geno Smith to be the story, or you want well, no, there's no one better than Geno Smith at the moment, is there, Phil?
Well, no, but we can.
But yeah, it's awful. It's not the way we want football games to go. We want football games to be clean. We want the referees to do their job, officiate the game properly. If they I don't mind them making a call and pick up the flag. No one minds that at all. So if you want to err on the side of caution, throw the flag, have a chat, pick up the flag. Everyone's happy. So I don't mind them erring on the side of caution, throwing the flag when they think something's happened, but huddle together and get the decision right. And you're not going to get it right all the time, and that's why the challenge flag and the review system is there. But yeah, some of the calls from the weekend were absolutely atrocious. Atrocious.
There you go.
Yeah, the best officials are the ones you don't notice, really.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Yes, it's what you want, and I feel like for the first, I'm just going to keep talking. I know Will's disappeared. I'm just going to the first couple of weeks so far, it's not been too bad, not noticeable, and it feels like it's almost like, right, we need to be noticed now, and they go out to call things that they really don't need to.
Yeah.
The one positive, they don't seem to be flagging the ridiculous taunting ones as much as last year, which is good. They've obviously taken that on board, but yeah, was there ever an explanation on that holding for the field goal? Did they come out and explain that call, or did they just?
No, they only explained the roughing the passer call.
Right, so just ignoring the other one.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Gotta love refs. Gotta love refs. So, we had another London game.
Yep.
Not marred by refereeing decisions.
No.
Pleasantly, there was some really rather good football played for a nice change for a London game. I thought the Giants were actually very, very impressive. It's the first time I've watched them properly. And yeah, that offensive performance in the second half was very impressive. They're not good, if that makes sense. But Brian Daboll is doing a good job with what he's got. They're much greater than the sum of their parts.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley is good. He's phenomenal this season. Daniel Jones is doing just enough to keep them ticking over. He's very much kind of like the Ryan Tannehill to Saquon Barkley's Derrick Henry this season. And that, if I was a Green Bay fan, I'd be much more worried about the defense than I would be about Aaron Rodgers' lack of receiving options, because the defense was supposed to be the thing this season. It's supposed to be the thing that you've built up over the offseason to be the elite squad, and you just hope Aaron Rodgers can string enough plays together on the other end. And yeah, so that's, if I was a Green Bay fan, I'd be worried about that defense, because the Giants, let's be fair to them. They're not a bad team. They're 4-1. They're 4-1 for a reason. they've got some good parts, but a team with the quality of Green Bay should be putting a team like the Giants away. And I laughed a lot at the 2 batted passes from Aaron Rodgers to end the game. That warmed my heart. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, I just want to say this on to camera. Fuck you, Aaron Rodgers.
Get off the fence, Phil. Tell us how you really feel about it.
I enjoy his suffering. It makes me happy. And the Giants, they're just feisty, aren't they? They're just coming out. They just do it. They know. Daboll seems to know what they can do, know what the limitations of the players he has are, and to be like, right, this is what I've got. He's very much doing a similar sort of job to what Arthur Smith's doing with the Falcons, which is, I know what I've got. I'm not going to try and do anything I can't do, but I can at least make us watchable and interesting. And so far it's working, because Saquon Barkley's playing out of his mind. Daniel Jones isn't fumbling the ball every 2 seconds. And their defense does seem to be holding up pretty well. Whereas the Packers have no receivers, and their offense is really predictable.
Mm.
Like, depending on which running back is out there, you know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Particularly their second half offense seems to be really, really bad. I'm not sure if it's adjustments made on the defense every time, but it seems to be they seem to just stop in the second half. I was just quickly looking there, just going through their second halves this year. So the Vikings' first game, they scored 7 points the entire game. 1 touchdown was the second half. Against the Bears, they won 27-10, but only 3 points in the second half. No points in the second half against the Buccaneers. They had, to be fair, the only game they have done was the Patriots that they won in overtime. And then the Giants game there, it was 2 points, which was the intentional safety.
Mm. So that wasn't even scored by the offense.
Yeah. So it's really, there seems to be something wrong when they come out that teams seem to know what they're then trying for the rest of the game.
It's almost like at halftime they go into a big room and Aaron Rodgers is sat there pouting and being a moody little bitch, and then the rest of his team are like, nah, fuck him.
This is why you come to the Gridiron Reprobates for excellent X's and O's analysis.
Yeah, it's worrying. But full credit to the Giants. I didn't expect that. I love a lot of the stuff they're doing out of Wildcat formation, and Saquon's obviously playing out his mind. So, yeah, good win.
Also, Kayvon Thibodeau is playing really well at the moment. He started the season off with a small injury, and I think as that's healing up, he's becoming more and more explosive every game. Had some really nice plays in this game. So I don't think the Giants are going to trouble anybody when it comes to January, but I think they're going to be fun between now and the end of December.
Yeah, they're going to cause some upsets and bloody some noses on the way through this year.
Yeah. I think the NFC East came out of nowhere to be a really compelling division in football this season.
The best division in football.
The best division in football?
It's the best division in football. I know, right?
Right. I'm not. I don't believe this for a second. I'm just going to analyze every single other division. Well, it's not the NFC South. It's not the AFC South.
No.
It's not the NFC West.
No.
It's not the AFC West.
No.
If the Detroit Lions had a defense, it could be the NFC North, but they don't, so it's not. It could be the AFC North.
Because that's got the Steelers.
Yeah, but it's also
and
got
the Browns.
But it's also got. It's also got.
And the Bengals haven't been that good.
The Ravens have. Well, Lamar Jackson's been very good. He's been let down by some of the other parts of his team. Okay, maybe it's not the NFC North. So that leaves us with the AFC East. Bills, Dolphins,
Bills,
Jets,
Jets,
what
resurgent Jets.
Talking about with these guys,
huh?
What records are we talking about? The NFC East. You've got the 5-0 Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the
4-1
Cowboys. You've got the 4-1 Giants, and then the Commanders.
But in the AFC East, you've got the Bills, pretty good team.
Yeah.
The Dolphins, when they eventually get Tua back, pretty good team.
When they get a quarterback.
Yeah, pretty good team. The Jets, resurgent Jets, 3-2, New York Jets, and New England Patriots, surprisingly not terrible. Beating,
Well, they have Bailey Zappi, who apparently is the next coming. Speak to the right Patriot fan.
But so yeah, I think either way, AFC East or NFC East, if you had said that 6 weeks ago that these were going to be the two potentially best divisions in football, I would have laughed at you. But here we are. The two best divisions in football are the NFC and AFC East.
Yep.
What a wild ride the NFC season is. I do want to actually give some credit to to Dan Quinn and the Cowboys defense because I didn't think they'd be able to keep up what they did last season, and they totally have. He's done a really good job. He's done what oh damn, I forgot his name now. Where's the Cowboys head coach?
Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, he has done what Mike McCarthy said he did, which was go away, consider what he was doing, and come back with a fresh new set of ideas. Dan Quinn actually did that, and as a result, the defense is really good.
It does help having Micah Parsons back there.
It does help, but we have also seen
that.
I was going to say, we've also seen plenty of other defensive coordinators have otherworldly talent and not know how to deploy them efficiently at all. Looking at you, Jeff Fisher's Jeff Fisher's Rams teams, who had Aaron Donald, and was still terrible.
Well, that's because they had to go 7-9. That was just kind
of... They had to.
That was a rule.
That's like, oh God, we're going to have to suck for a couple of games because we have to go 7-9.
But there were plenty of defenses there that have outstanding talent and are not playing particularly well. Like the Green Bay Packers, for example. The Cleveland Browns, another team with excellent talent, not playing very well. So it does help you, right, to have possibly the best pass rusher in the league at the moment. But you've also got to put him in those positions to succeed. That's it. That's what your job is as a coach, and Dan Quinn is doing an excellent job at that. And not just Parsons. Who's on the side of Parsons? I was going to say Randy Gregory, but he plays. I've got to get the fucking Packers out of my mind, man. There's like polluting. Who's the pass rusher opposite Micah Parsons on the Cowboys?
Oh,
is it it's not Van Der Esch, is it?
No, that's their linebacker, middle linebacker. Right, Google tell me.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying.
Right. Well, this is great.
Whilst you're searching for that, Trayvon Diggs is still playing well as well.
Yes, he is.
He may not be getting the interceptions and pick sixes every single game, but he's still causing problems, batting down passes, making wide receivers miss catches, stuff like all the good stuff. He's still doing all that, so he's still having a good season, even if it doesn't look good statistically speaking because he's not got the interceptions, whatever. It doesn't matter. He's still doing the job. He's doing it right.
Yeah. DeMarcus Lawrence was the player's name. I couldn't remember. He also is having a great time because they're not doing the old classic just line everybody up and rush your lane stuff. At the Cowboys are doing some wonderful stuff, running defensive line games, stunts, twists, all those kinds of lovely things to get people one-on-one pass opportunities. And when people do then concentrate on Parsons, DeMarcus Ware, nope. DeMarcus Lawrence.
DeMarcus Ware.
He used to play for the Cowboys, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a great day. Is getting those opportunities to clean up behind. So yeah, the Cowboys defense, which is what is the reason they are 4-1, is because of that defense and Tony Pollard.
Cooper Rush not shitting the bed.
Yeah, well, Cooper Rush.
He's literally come in and just done exactly what he needed to do, which is just be okay. Don't
Perfect.
fuck up.
Perfect backup quarterback. It's exactly what you want the backup quarterback to come and do. Not
don't fuck up. Okay.
Yeah. Not fuck up. Give the ball to the people who are good, and that's exactly what he's doing. So I think fair play.
This stretch of games, it's going to have him for at least the next 4 or 5 seasons with someone. Make himself a lot of money over this 4 or 5 games. So fair play.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, definitely.
Better with a contract for the next 20 years, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, fair. Right. So, what was I saying? What were we talking about? I'm having a really good day. Oh yeah, we were laughing at Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
It was about putting players in the best position to succeed. Dan Quinn.
Oh yeah. So he has done an excellent job. I actually thought. So here's my take on what happened at the end of the London game, which does tie into the putting your players in the best place to succeed. I thought that the Packers head coach was doing a great job calling an offense to eat the clock and get your team in the position to put the game away and win. I think they got the ball with something like 6 or 7 minutes left, and they were doing a great job of moving the chains, bleeding the clock. Lots of nice little short runs, little dump off passes. A great job of bleeding the clock. And then it comes to the crunch time, and that's when we had the 2 batted passes. And before that, there were 2 bad pass plays, all down to Mr. Rodgers.
Are you suggesting that Aaron Rodgers is a choker?
No, I wouldn't suggest such a thing. All I'm going to say is...
Fucking is.
All I'm going to say is... to have 1 pass batted down at the line of scrimmage is unfortunate. To have 2 in a row... 2 in a row...
That kind of thing happens to Kyler Murray because he can't see over them.
Yeah. Which is, it's not Kyler Murray's fault.
No,
but Aaron Rodgers is 6'4". What's your excuse, Aaron?
Over.
They were getting a lot of success with Aaron Jones, especially in the last couple of drives they had, and they seemed to, when it came to crunch time, they seemed to just take him out and put A.J. Dillon in there for some reason. Both really good players, obviously, but Aaron Jones was the one making the difference. And then they just went away from him, maybe just getting too cute. But yeah, funny seeing it, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why they did. Because, like you said, they were bleeding the clock, we dump off plays, extending, but having success with it.
Yeah.
It was strange. It was really strange, and it comes down to again, I know, slightly joking, but it comes to crunch time, and Aaron Rodgers can't quite seem to make the big play of the game that's needed.
Phil's loving it. Listen to that. Right.
Well, it's fine.
Let's talk a little bit about what the hell happened to the Lions against the Patriots. How does a team who through the first 4 weeks of the season has the number 1 ranked offense, the number 1 ranked scoring offense, put up 0 points against the New England Patriots? I mean, the New England Patriots are a well-coached team. They are not a very good team. No. How are you putting up 0 points?
Don't know. They had the yardage to score points, so yes. I'm not sure what happened.
He's just getting the
the last bit in. Yeah, it was only 1 turnover as well. So genuinely no idea. It's actually quite impressive.
It's not they didn't even get a field goal.
I know.
Yeah. It's especially, I think they 300 odd yards or something they had. Like that should at least get you 3 field goals at the very least.
Yeah.
Going the distance of the field 3 times. It's just
how much did they lose?
Brown was back, and they didn't really seem to use. I'm not sure if he still maybe had a slight injury there. But yeah, Dan Campbell came out and said it was the lowest, but that's when they come in and they scratch and they claw and they shoot people in the shins and stuff like that. So I guess we'll see. We'll see if that happens.
Well, they've lowered themselves from kneecaps to shins now, I see.
Yeah, yeah. That bad.
What about your Seahawks then, Phil?
We can't play defense. That was
You don't.
a big issue. And even though we know that when Taysom Hill is on the field and he's playing QB, he's just going to run. He's not going to throw it. We still are unable to stop that. Everyone knows what's about to happen, and we do nothing.
Taysom Hill,
I think fine, but
I think he's the player I hate the most in the NFL. He's so annoying. He's so annoying. I hate
Dan
him.
agrees with you.
I hate him. Oh, it's just, I really do. But teams should know how to stop him. Really,
Yeah, it's just like, oh, he's in a QB. Guess he's running then.
he did throw one, though, did he not?
And
When?
he does that just in case someone.
Just in case.
Yeah,
Right.
just to make it look like he's going to try and play QB, not just run immediately. Yes, no, our defense is woeful. Tariq Woolen looks good, which is nice. Kobe Bryant has had some good moments. Outside of that, we don't really have a lot going on defensively speaking.
You were correct, Ryan. He did throw a pass. He threw one pass for 22 yards.
Probably after the 3 rushing, and we went, he'll never pass.
Yeah, I don't know when in the game it happened. I'm just looking at the his stats for the season. But he had one pass of 22 yards for a touchdown and a perfect passer rating.
The good thing is the Seahawks offense still looks really, really good.
Yeah,
and you'll beat a lot of teams this season just with that offense.
Yeah,
they can't keep up with it. So as long as you're still having fun with it, it's just annoying watching Taysom Hill do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a far cry from the Legion of Boom.
Barely see the Legion of Boom. Legion of Boom is a dot to you.
But we've got Geno Smith, and that's the important part, and he's playing MVP level football.
He is, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's that. I think that has to be the most surprising turn of events for the whole season is that Geno Smith is playing not competent quarterbacking, but an MVP level through 5 games. And yeah, it's well. In the Jets Discord, there was a bit of a discussion about who should have the awards now we're through with the quarter of the season. And it wasn't a joke at all. I said it should be Charles Cross. But then again, I thought it should have been Tristan Wirfs 2 years ago, and it should have been Rashawn Slater last year. So I'm just playing to the crowd, playing to type at the moment. But
I was going to say, you're picking the offensive lineman.
Yeah, of course I am. But he has... Both of the rookie offensive tackles for the Seahawks have been outstanding.
Yeah.
And the reason that Geno Smith is looking so good is because he has time to do what he can do. He's not a mobile quarterback. He needs to have time to make his reads. And they seems silly to say, but the Seattle offensive line is doing a really good job buying their quarterback time to make all the reads.
Pete Carroll is trying to troll Russell Wilson as hard as he can. Not only am I going to trade you away and start Geno Smith, who's going to play at a Pro Bowl level, I'm going to get an offensive line now to protect him so that he continues to play at a Pro Bowl level without having to run for his life. Because fuck you, Russell Wilson. That's why.
I bet
that's inside Pete Carroll's head right now. That was just a little look inside his brain.
He must be laughing his tiny little head off every time he watches a Broncos game.
I think most people are, to be honest with you.
No, but him especially.
Yeah.
Especially because he took so much flack for what has transpired. So much flack. And
Even me, I was angry. I was angry we let Russ go.
I was.
Carol, I'm sorry.
I take it all back. But we were saying on the Gridiron Gentleman podcast that the Seahawks had picked the wrong horse. They went with the coach when they should have gone with the quarterback. Got egg all over our faces on that one, haven't we?
I think everyone does. Nobody would have expected.
Nobody called that.
Nobody.
No one called any of this. Everyone's like, "Oh God, this is going to be Gino or Drew Lock," and just we're terrible.
No one expected the Seahawks to be this good and the Broncos to be this bad. No one expected any of it.
I think there was a tweet on Twitter today. It was like, never thought I'd see willingly dropping Wilson from my fantasy team and putting in Gino.
Yeah, no, I have made that substitution for next week. That's it. Going forward, Gino's my starter.
But like we were discussing a few weeks ago, just you don't get to the NFL as a quarterback without talent. The difference is a lot of time, the time you have on the ball, and it's clear as day. This is what it is in this case. It's amazing. It's brilliant.
He's got time.
Yeah.
I also think that Nathaniel Hackett is way way over his head in Denver. I think of all the coaching hires that were made last season, I think that one has got to be the worst because not only do the crowd have to tell him when the play clock is counting down, the whole thing just looks disorganized on the sideline. They're not getting the play calls in a timely fashion. They're making basic errors. They're making the procedural errors that I always put down to coaching. Too many men on the field, not getting the play call in time. Terrible shifts that are resulting in penalties. It's all down to coaching. So I don't think Russell Wilson is a washed-up quarterback.
No.
I think he's in a bad situation with a play caller that doesn't know how to get the best out of Russell Wilson because they're trying to run the Green Bay offense. But Russell Wilson, like the Green Bay offense of the past few years, the one that has made Aaron Rodgers a 2-time MVP, has been all about quick reads, making the right read every time, and passes over the middle. And that is just something that Russell Wilson has never been good at throughout his entire career. He has never been good at passing over the middle because he's not very tall and he can't see very well over the middle of the field. He can see much better towards the sidelines, and that's where the majority of his really good passes go. If you look at all of his highlight reel passes to like Metcalf and Lockett, they're all rollouts and bombs down the sidelines. That's what he's good at. So that's what he should be. That's what the offense should be. But it's not. It's all quick hitting slants and in-breaking routes over the middle, which he's just not good at. So I think next season, when Hackett is out of a job and they bring someone else in, they'll turn it around. But this season, they look terrible.
Yeah. Have we ever had a coach get fired before the end of his first season?
Not including Urban Meyer.
Not including Urban Meyer. There you go. Okay, yeah, that's answered my question. Thank you.
But he wasn't fired for coaching incompetence. He was fired for being a terrible, terrible human being.
Yeah, it was because he was a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's been fired before the end of their first tenure because of coaching decisions. It's always been ancillary reasons.
Yeah.
But that would be that. I suppose it is a new ownership group, though, isn't it? Did they hire him, or was he in place when the new owners took over?
No, I don't think he was in. I think he was in before the new owners came in.
That's what I think as well. So it could happen. It could happen. They're not tied to him in any way.
I mean, I think either way he's gone. Whether it's end of the season or before, the Hackett's probably gone at this point, unless they have some miracle turnaround.
which is, I don't see where that's coming from.
No. Oi. Outside, pet. Outside. Out. Sorry. Got a big spider crawling down the wall. I'm like, no. Go back out the window.
I thought you were talking to a cat.
No. They can stay inside. But
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, have we got anything else from the weekend that has piqued our interest?
Matt Rule.
Oh yeah, I've forgotten about that.
in things people saw coming.
Yeah. I mean,
probably. It just leaves me like wondering why didn't you do it before the season started?
Yeah.
I had this point on the Gents pod this week, which was, I think, for whatever reason, they thought that Baker Mayfield gave them hope for some reason. They thought they were going to get, Cleveland Browns Baker, who has a chip on his shoulder and is going to play his arse off and everything else. But instead, all they've got is bad Baker. So they've gone in and gone, right, well, if Baker, plays decently, will at least be entertaining and at least interesting and not dismal. But they didn't get that Baker. They got bad Baker, and they've just been atrociously bad. I think that they've been way worse than they possibly could have thought they were going to be. And I think that's why the decision wasn't made earlier.
The question after this then is like, what do they do now? Because it's not like they've got a big handful of picks and then they don't have a lot of cap space. I think they're due to be 23 million over the cap next year. They've paid a lot of money to a lot of players on long contracts.
Yeah.
They've got
a lot of guys on like mid-level contracts as well.
Yeah.
They're expensive.
Mm-hmm. They've got to pick up the phone and answer those phone calls about CMC and Brian Burns. And
okay, we can't let Christian McCaffrey go to Buffalo. That's not fair.
I mean, it'll be fine. We can let him go because he'll get injured within the first play because it's cold.
True. Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Himself.
But I think that is what they need to do. I think they need to cut some weight and try and get some draft picks back. Basically,
trade away the players you can.
Yeah.
Cut anybody when it comes to the end of the season. Anybody you can get away with cutting, who's on any kind of decent contract, do it and just rebuild completely because this is not going to work. This is not going to get you anywhere. Your quarterback situation has been upgraded from Sam Darnold, but barely, because Baker Mayfield has not been the Baker Mayfield we saw in Cleveland. Now, that might be because the offensive line in Carolina is worse, and because he's got nothing around him apart from Christian McCaffrey, but he's still not playing. He's still playing a lot worse than he was in Cleveland.
What I didn't kind of really understand, and it was kind of strange at the time as well, so it looks like they've kind of fired. Their defense hasn't been the worst part of their team.
No, I don't know why they fired the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, so I think it's because he was a Matt Rule guy. They just wanted Matt Rule's guys out. But it's weird because at the time, remember they fired Joe Brady?
Oh, yes.
Who was a really exciting hire as offensive coordinator, and I think he just didn't get along with Matt Rule. At that point, I did feel that was strange. And now they've just got rid of all of Matt Rule's guys, so it feels like it was almost like a power struggle between Matt Rule and the ownership.
Yeah.
And then the ownership have just decided they've had enough. But they really should have had enough a lot sooner before spending all this money.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really strange one. They are kind of in the shit, really.
Yeah.
Oh well. No better place for the Carolina Panthers to be, in my opinion. Anything else that caught our interest from week 5?
Ron Rivera.
Oh yeah, saying his quarterback's terrible. Well, we could have told you that one.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't have a problem with what Ron Rivera said as such because he's right, but maybe you don't say it in public quite so bluntly and then double down on it immediately. Do you want to clarify that? Yeah, the quarterback play.
Oh yeah. That's brilliant. That's the brilliant bit. Do you want to clarify that? Of course, it's terrible quarterback play from us. Much better quarterback play from everybody else. Brilliant. You can tell he knows he's on a short leash as well, because if he thought he had any kind of job security, I don't think he'd be saying that kind of stuff.
No, I genuinely get the feeling that he's just like, you know what? If I get fired, it's fine. I'll be out of here. No more Dan Snyder. No more anything else. Just out of this mess. Like, please fire me.
Maybe that's the ploy. Maybe he's trying to get fired so that he can.
I don't want this anymore.
Continue to cash his checks.
Go to Dan Snyder, but we should get Wentz on a 10-year contract.
I believe in him. I can get more out of him.
Oh, sorry, I meant more interceptions. I can definitely get more interceptions out of Carson Wentz. That was hilarious. Yeah.
I think week 5 also had one of my favourite stat lines for Travis Kelce was 7 receptions for 25 yards and 4 touchdowns. So I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. Tying it back to what we first talked about with the Green Bay Packers, that is the big reason why the Chiefs have been able to survive getting rid of their top wide receiver, as opposed to Green Bay Packers not being able to survive that. It's because they've still got Travis Kelce, who is, although some might say he's not a tight end, he's still an elite receiving talent, no matter which way you cut it.
Yeah.
And what the Chiefs have done in pivoting their offense so that it runs through Travis Kelce, and then they've brought in ancillary pieces to complement that, has been very impressive. Shows you why the Walrus is such a good coach.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing, is they replaced the talent they lost in Tyreek Hill because they knew they couldn't get 1-for-1, like for like or anything else. Not on the market, not easily. But what they did instead was just like, right, well, let's get a few guys who are all pretty good, because when we've got Mahomes as a QB and Travis Kelce as a threat, well, we don't need you necessarily to be Tyreek Hill. We just need you to be able to catch the ball. We'll do the rest.
Yeah, they've been very impressive. So here's a question: Who has been the better quarterback through the first 5 games of the season? Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes?
I think it's just Josh Allen.
Ooh.
But only because Mahomes had a sort of rough game against the Colts. I think if you take away that Colts game, it's probably a dead heat, to be perfectly honest with you. They've both been playing phenomenal football. And we always forget about the fact that Mahomes is playing phenomenal football because he's Mahomes and we just expect it now. Whereas Josh Allen, we're still on the, oh my God, what did he just do stage? Whereas Patrick Mahomes does a spin move, flips it into the end zone to his running back, and we're just like, oh yeah, that seems about right. Yeah. That's normal.
What do you think, man?
Yeah, I'd agree. There's been 3. I mean, I'm putting Lamar Jackson into the conversation as well, because I think he has been absolutely brilliant.
He's been brilliant in a different way, I think, than the other 2.
Yeah,
but I agree, brilliant.
But I think Allen just shades it. I think. But then you watch Mahomes, what he did against the Buccaneers, and you just he just does otherworldly stuff where it's just so normal for him to be doing now, and it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be.
Yeah, we're almost getting sadly almost numb to his brilliance.
Yeah. I think Josh Allen is not. I think Patrick Mahomes is playing better football than Josh Allen, but I think Josh Allen is more important to his team's success than Patrick Mahomes is. Go and watch any Bills game from this season and watch Josh Allen navigate in the pocket. It is phenomenal the way he can avoid rushes with just the tiniest amount of moves, and then get everything aligned correctly for a lovely pass. Is phenomenal. You just don't see that sort of play, and I think because he's not getting help from his running game, he's only got one receiver of note. He doesn't have the same weapons that the Chiefs have.
No.
I think without Josh Allen, I don't think the Bills are anywhere near as good as they should be. Whereas I think if you put someone else, a decent enough quarterback in Kansas City, they'd still be good.
I think the way to judge this is if you put Teddy Bridgewater into that system, how good do you think that team will still be?
Yeah. I think Teddy Bridgewater would get eaten alive at Bills with that offensive line.
Yeah. Whereas at the Chiefs, he'd probably still be all right.
He'd be all right. He would be great, but
that's still a playoff team.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't want to diminish anything that Patrick Mahomes is doing because he's being phenomenal. But
yeah,
I think Patrick Mahomes is the better quarterback. Josh Allen is still the MVP because without him, the Bills wouldn't be anywhere near as good as they are at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good discussion there at the end. And unfortunately, we have to follow it up with talking about more dross football on a Thursday night. You're out, Phil.
No, I don't.
Not doing it.
Like this.
When did the Thursday night games become good?
Not next week, but the week after when the Bucks play the Ravens.
Ravens.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
But yeah, this week, the Washington Commanders travel to Chicago to play the Chicago Bears. Next week, the New Orleans Saints travel to Arizona to play the Cardinals.
See, that one has the possibility to be a bit interesting, at least. Things will happen.
There might be some points.
If Jameis is healthy again, then you'll see some. He could go 30 for 30 in a single game. Who knows? against that Cardinals defense that just blitz every single down. Yeah, that would be some interception hell for Mr. Jameis Winston. Yeah, it's just that one at least could be interesting. I'm not saying it's two good teams. I'm just saying it'll at least be fun. This, however, the Commanders versus the Bears. This will not be fun or interesting in any way.
I genuinely think Amazon might go to the NFL for a refund. Because it is some amount of shit we are getting.
What is this? What is this crap you're giving us on a Thursday night?
Yeah. It's like they've got a 30-day policy. It's like the NFL, like, nope.
One of my favorite, the only good thing that came out of Thursday Night Football last week was Al Michaels just not giving a shit, just telling it like it is. So, sometimes my favorite line was like, sometimes things get so bad they're good, but not this game.
Did you see that the Broncos fans leaving before overtime?
Yeah.
Oh, it was just
who wants another 10 minutes of this?
Oh, it's vile. It was honestly vile.
Yeah,
this week I don't think it's going to be.
It's not going to get any better. Not going to get any better at all.
No.
So let's try and decipher who is going to win. Phil, who do you think is going to win Dross Match 2? This time it's personal.
Well, on the Gents pod, I've done my score prediction of being a 3-3 draw. Going for the tie.
Nice. A football score.
So my thinking is there's a couple of bits on the Bears offense that I don't mind. I like Montgomery. I think he's a solid running back.
Yep.
And I like Darnell Mooney. The Redskins have a lot of injuries.
The Commanders.
Oh, sorry, the Commanders. Football team.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
The proper name.
Apologies. Have a lot of injuries. I wish they were still the Redskins. At least they were exciting then, like with their actual team. But they've got a lot of injuries. They've got Carson Wentz. So that leads me to my prediction of they're going to win. Of all that is it's Thursday night football. I took the Colts last week because of that, and it came through for me. So I'm going football team to win. I'm not calling them the Commanders or football team. Yeah, I'd rather call them a racist name over the Commanders. How bad is that?
that's some bizarre stand you've taken there. I'd rather be racist than call them the Commanders.
We'll stick with football team.
I don't. By the way, Ryan, I'm not saying I disagree with you. It's just it's just funny. I also think the Commanders still have. For fuck's sake! I'm literally just looked at the fucking depth chart so I can get his name right.
They've got Thomas.
Terry McLaurin. They've still got Terry McLaurin, who is excellent.
They're starting a guy at running back. He's number one running back now. They got shot 6 weeks ago. He's your number one running back.
The one who sounds like he played for England in the early 90s, Brian Robson.
But
Robinson.
To be fair, I don't mind. There's they tried to target one of their younger tight ends the last few weeks. Cole Turner, I think his name is. It may be worthwhile watching a couple of these young guys, seeing what they have. But
I mean, Dotson's been good as well for him.
Yeah, but yeah, it's not going to be. It's not going to mean anything in the terms of anyone's life, including Bears and football team fans.
But it's because the football team have a passing game that I think they're going to win, whereas the Bears don't. They don't even try and throw the ball. Most games, it's all running all the time, and the football team. I can't get the name right. The football team still have a decent defensive line, and I think they'll have a good day stopping Fields and Montgomery running. I think it's going to be ugly. It's going to be terrible. Commanders will score a touchdown and 2 field goals, and that'll be enough to win the game. It's going to be bleh.
Yeah.
What did Baz say? Where was Baz going? I think he said.
I think he said Commanders.
Bears. Oh, he said Commanders. Let's get this correct.
We'll just ask him next week.
He'll pick the loser again.
He'll pick the loser.
No, right. He said Bears. He's gone Bears.
But the audience is the losers.
Yeah, just like last week.
Yeah. You're not staying up, kids.
Phil and Baz have gone Bears. Ryan and I have gone.
No. I went for
He's
a
a tie. He's a tie.
Oh, he did. Yeah, of course. My mistake.
See if it finishes a tie. I think Phil, you should get 2 points.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. You get if you correctly predict the tie, you get 2 points. I'll second that definitely. Cool. Well, gentlemen, we are approaching the end of our time together for another week, but after an appalling Thursday night football, we do have a decent slate of games to see us through Sunday, and I look forward to talking to you about it next week. So until then, goodbye all.
Bye.